Okay, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today in our third masterclass in the masterclass series as part of the Avaana-Startup India Grand Challenge for ClimateTech Innovation. So, this challenge aims to identify and support innovators and entrepreneurs building climate tech solutions across seven different themes: energy and mobility, food, carbon capture, industrial decarbonization, circular economy and resource management, climate finance, and climate data and reporting. In the YouTube video description below, you can see all of the themes detailed as well as a link to apply for the challenge. The application closes on 3rd February, so we invite you to apply as soon as possible. Coming to the masterclass today, we will have Dr. Ganesh Das, Chief of Collaboration and Innovation, Tata Power, hosting the session for us. Thank you, Dr. Das, for being here. Today,
Thank you.
Dr. Das will be covering the role of startups in energy transition. Through the session, he will be exploring the energy transition landscape, outlining Tata Power's pivotal role in driving change, and focusing on the diverse opportunities available to startups in this dynamic sector. The structure of today's session will be as follows. Dr. Das will present for about 25 to 30 minutes, followed by a question and answer session. We invite all attendees to please drop your questions in the chat and we will take them up at the end of Dr. Das's presentation. Thank you once again for being here, and over to you, Dr. Das.
Thank you, Ishita. Hello, everyone. It is very exciting to really talk to you all about the startup opportunities, especially in the Indian energy ecosystem. And then when you talk about the energy transition is happening not only in India, but it's happening across the world. And you would be very familiar with the happenings at the COP28, the World Economic Forum. All those, everything we are around us is talking about decarbonization. We talk about sustainability. We talk about circular economy. But from while we are looking at everything, the whole some of the things are very foundational, and energy happens to be one of the foundational things. It happens to be a key economic driver, be it be any place across the world, and that's been the case for many years in the past. That will continue to be the case in the future also. The only difference perhaps is that we are trying to figure out that how do we really generate or create this energy or translate this energy from one form to other by using the least, or perhaps in a most sustainable manner. And that is what we are collectively trying to strive. So today, this also excites me to be a part of this discussion because I was also the founding CEO for the Clean Energy International Incubation Center, where we have got few startups, and again, all working in the area of clean energy. It's a great initiative of Avaana to really look at this ecosystem and offer investments as we move forward on that. So I have put together a few slides, and no means this number of slides actually captures the entire imagination of how the energy transition is happening. But at the same time, it is just to give you or perhaps trigger you and make you sensitive about the opportunities which really exist in India and across the world. And what I will try to do is, while I give you the complete picture about the energy transition, maybe a bit of a kind of flavor of the energy transition, I'll also say that what kind of an opportunity exists for the startups as we move forward. So as we look at next, as we look at the and again some of the information which we use are a little confidential, so maybe I'll discuss about it as we move forward. You look at the India as an opportunity for the energy transition. You are looking at India moving from a grey India to a green India, and there are certain targets set by the government of India. And the government, if you look at the performance of the government, if you look at the intent of the government, one could see that it is not that we are talking. A lot of things are happening also at the ground level. The classic evidence in this case is catching over, or they're transferring, moving up the ladder when it comes to the energy transition, when it comes to even the kind of economic growth we have had, and then we have moved up the ladder of the GDP growth, and we continue to have a good growth. And today in the morning, I was having some discussion with some of the one of the large companies based out of Asia, that India is a very lucrative and attractive market. And we were given an offer that, or while we were discussing that, will you like to go out for India and explore other opportunities? We said that our hands are full when it comes to energy in India. We would like to focus on India and deliver what we can do best here at this moment. So there are a lot of opportunities in the area of be it low carbon hydrogen, be it be bioenergy, be it be CCUS, be it be looking at non-silicon based technologies for the generation of modules, solar modules, or non-lithium based batteries when it comes to the batteries. Now, this discussion, nobody would have discussed about panels, nobody would have discussed about batteries some time back. But these have started playing a very big, important role in the entire value chain of energy. Some time back, we used to have a thermal plant, and a huge thermal plant like an elephant. It will continue to work in a very steady manner, and that's the whatever output comes out is steadily used. Now it is not the case. The value chain is distributed at the distribution level, transmission level, generation level. We optimize, we have a lot of data which has been generated, we have put sensors everywhere, and all this is collectively giving us an opportunity to optimize collectively at a central level. And some of the technology landscapes, just to sensitize, and some of the areas where extensive work is going on is energy storage. While there are efforts to optimize the manufacturing of lithium, to figure out bring down the cost of lithium, to make better processes, the alternate to chemistries to the lithium battery is also going very, very extensively, especially focusing on non-rare metals and elements which are abundantly available and which could perhaps not really affect a particular geography, but it will be something which can be uniformly found across our earth. So sodium-based technology, zinc-based technology, magnesium, iron ore, lithium metal, everything is going on. And we are also trying to figure out that while energy is used in multiple forms, when we use a lot of heat energy in form of steam and other things in our manufacturing process, be it chemicals, textiles, automotives, any of the case maybe, that can we directly convert, or while we are storing and optimizing energy, can we have a thermal energy storage and then use it for subsequent application at the industry level? Then pump hydros. Hydro has been something which has started way back, and then hydro now creating and maybe developing another reservoir. Can we develop a pump hydro storage? The cost of the pump hydro will be very less, and we will be optimizing the use of energy, water, everything on that. When it comes to solar technology, we have seen trends, organic solar cell happening, perovskites, looking at perovskites, and these two technologies, especially perovskite, is going to disrupt the way what is going to be the manufacturing goes when it comes to the way it is. Like you don't going to get ignored converting that into very difficult different manufacturing processes. Glass-based solar cells, solar coatings. Again, you need to have a high efficiency outputs from the coatings. Concentrated solar. These are some of the things which is happening. The trackers on floaters. Then carbon utilization and storage is going to be extremely important. You can capture carbon, all right, but what is the market for carbon? Is there somewhere in many places we can use carbon? Can we use the bottom ash which is generated through thermal? Can we capture the carbon in a thermal plant and then make it more efficient and therefore increase the life of the thermal station? So these are some of the areas looking into. Electric vehicle have come in a big way, but electric vehicle, if you look at the entire value chain, you are going to have batteries which is going to be 80% good when you are going to dispose it from the mobility applications. Can it be used for stationary application? When there is a need of a crisis, when you require more energy, can the vehicle act as a portable grid? So these are some of the areas which is working on. Is it possible that if a consumer becomes a prosumer, is it possible to trade between two consumers rather than going through the central trading system? Those are some of the options coming up. The development in the area of artificial intelligence, machine learning operations is coming in a big way. The data is helping us to understand consumer behavior. It is helping us to understand how machines work. It is helping us to understand how different elements work when they come together while transmitting energy. And this is all giving us multiple options to make us better as we move forward. Geothermal energy, again, focusing on usage of natural resources. Is there an opportunity to use geothermal energy, again, moving into the fact that, or understanding the fact that it is going to be more cleaner? Nuclear technology, can we make it more safer? Is it possible to generate much higher energy for what we require and then do that? Small medium reactors, micro medium reactors, these are going to be some of the things which we are going to see very often at a distributed level, at a level when you have got the challenges of right of way, and all those things are going to happen. Now, if you look at the initiatives from the point of view of the solar development in India is concerned, and why I'm actually wanting to share this is because one is, of course, you manufacture solar modules. The second thing is a lot of things are going to help to make this happen. So when you are looking at innovation, when you are looking at startup ecosystem, there are a lot of products and solutions which you can use to act as a value addition to eventually achieving the goal of something like 280 gigawatt of installed capacity, which is already there, and then more to come as we move forward. A lot of targets has been set up. 2030 is going to see 280 gigawatt. Current scenario is something which we all know, and some of the things which are going to boost the manufacturing because you are creating more demand. Grid connected solar plants, mega and ultra mega solar parks, solar rooftop development programs, and you would have heard the Prime Minister announcing the solar rooftop program very recently. Then PM solar water pumps. Again, water is always going to be a key thing for us, especially pumps, because India continues to be a agriculture-based economy, and it is important to be a agriculture-based economy because food security is right at the top. Whatever you achieve, if you don't have a food security, then you are going to have a very disturbed, political ecosystem. Initiatives on manufacturing, we have got production link incentives, customs on the solar cell and modules, increased so that encouraging the in-house production, and then approved list of models. And then one thing perhaps I don't mind putting across, there are a lot of indications from the government side to move away from the Chinese dominance. Now, all those things will give us opportunity as a startup to come out with technologies which otherwise are predominantly dominated by Chinese technologies. So this is an opportunity here. Again, I'm not saying that we should copy them. We should make something better than what they have been doing so that we always move ahead of the curve, and there is also an opportunity to leap across the technologies. Then manufacturing through the solar enterprise of the Corporation of India. The SECI is coming out with a lot of programs which helps us to look at that. Then if you look at the electric vehicle market, this continues to be at a very early stage, but it has a promise to become very big. Now, when we are talking about the electric vehicle, in creating of electric vehicle infrastructure, you have got automotive opportunities at the automotive side to bring more automation, machine learning, etc., etc. Then you have an opportunity at the battery side, battery management system side, integration of batteries to the grid side. Then on the tribology side, where to reduce friction, etc. So you have got a whole lot of opportunities which is going to pave way the moment the electric vehicle is going to come in. The second use of battery is going to come in a big way. People who are into recycling of these batteries there are going to be a lot of opportunities. Logistic companies are going to come out with, they are going to have a lot of opportunities because the manufacturing landscape also can potentially change because you may potentially have more assembling rather than manufacturing when it comes to EV. It is much easier to handle as compared to a typical IC engine. So these are some of the things which will come out with that. We have got state level policies, national level policies, funding coming from the government in a big way. So again, an opportunities to look at this. Hydrogen is an important area because we use hydrogen in multiple level for manufacturing. But what we are trying to look at is a green hydrogen opportunity. Now, why this is important? Now, if you look at Europe, if you look at many parts across the world, they consume hydrogen quite a lot. They manufacture steel, but they don't have much of a manufacturing, and they don't have an opportunity to, kind of provide green energy for manufacturing hydrogen. So there is an opportunity for India to do that. And if you are able to say to start with, transport ammonia, green ammonia, and then eventually convert that into hydrogen at the user end. So that is also an opportunity because ammonia is much easier to transport when it comes to hydrogen. So the technology related to chemistry, technology related to the electrochemical dimensions, technology related to thermodynamics, all are going to be very useful. So again, there is an opportunity, as I mentioned, that to add value to this energy the transformation by coming out with small technologies, big technologies, which can help us to be more optimized and then more sustainable as we move forward. Nuclear fission opportunities, land-based system. Again, there are different technologies people are working on. You can Google, you will find a lot of things, but you will find there are certain policies, directions. Very large companies are going to work on this. And very soon, there is a report of Niti Aayog, the role of small bundle. India is also going to look at this very, very seriously. And if you look at some of the uh, things which are happening in India, or if across the world, China has something like a 25 gigawatt of nuclear-based technology, energy under development. India has something like 8 gigawatt, 4 gigawatt, and then this goes so on and so forth. So nuclear is no longer a taboo. We are very seriously looking at see that how the nuclear can be used to give us meet our energy security requirement. It's a question of how safe you make it happen. How do you manage the nuclear waste? Those are the things which happens to be very interesting. And when it comes to fusion, you also have a lesser challenge when it comes to nuclear waste. That's the reason that a lot of technology or a lot of experimentation research, billions of dollars are spent to look at these technologies across the world. Carbon capture and utilization, as I was mentioning, that capturing carbon could be an easier job, but how do we really translate that carbon into useful application? That is something which needs to be looked at. Suppose we are able to say capture carbon and then you convert something like a dry ice or solidify the CO2 on that. But again, how do we really use it? Can it be used for multiple application? Can there be a market for trading? Because any technology is going to be successful if it has a market. If you come out with something and you don't have a market, then it is not going to work. Eventually, it has to be a market, and any market only promotes the demand. And once the demand is created, then you have a supply demand, then you have a product improvement happening all the time, then you have got technology players coming in and offer innovation. Then you keep on optimizing the technology as we move forward. So there is a potential for CCUS in India. It will be worthwhile to look at some technologies which will help us to do that, and then figure out that where we fit exactly into the value chain. When it comes to Tata Power, why I wanted to talk about Tata Power is a company which encourages startup. I mean, last year I have a figure. We have we have kind of evaluated something like 160 startups. Who can really, we try to figure out that if they can work with us, and out of that some are working with us. So there is a huge opportunity, and we feel that some of the technology has to come from a startup ecosystem. One of the reason why we believe that way is a startup is not cannibalizing its own market, and when you are going to disrupt the market with a new technology, when always a company, established company, has a risk that it is going to cannibalize the present business. So generally, it becomes a little hesitant to innovate something disruptive. Whereas the startup ecosystem does not bother about that. The startup always looks at something very novel, different, and an opportunity to really get into an expansive level. I think that is where we have to look at. And also, perhaps I want to put across a point is, while a startup ecosystem in India is quite good, but we don't see much of the startup coming into the hardware area or actually in the manufacturing area. Largely, you will find fintech, or you will find IT related application and things like that as a startup. But I would also very strongly encourage you to look at manufacturing, because manufacturing is going to be the key across the world. You need to have, your artificial intelligence is only required to manage things, objective things. If the objective things keeps on reducing, then artificial intelligence will not do much on that. So it is important to look at that. So at the moment, our current portfolio is around 14.3 gigawatt, and there is a breakup of thermal, hydro, waste, transmission, distribution, and we directly supply to something like 13 million consumers in Odisha, in Delhi, in Mumbai, in Ajmer, and then we also have a very big renewable portfolio. And this is we will constantly are looking for new technologies, opportunities in this area, and we'll be very happy to look at the startups. As I was mentioning, we continuously look at that, and we want to generate something. We want to have a capacity of 30 gigawatt by 2027, 75% clean energy. We want to be water neutral, and we want to achieve net zero by 2045. That is quite a hard target, much ahead of what India wants to do, but we feel that it is possible. And we want to empower a billion lives through sustainable, affordable, innovative energy solution, which we feel that we want to get into a situation where we are able to outlive a technology on a gradual basis and come out with something new, disruptive, which can add better value to the consumer we serve. And this is just the approach at which we follow. We work with more than 230 partners across the world, 170 odd industries, 38 institutions, which include academic institutions. We work with a lot of funding partners, and the list which we have tried to put across on the slide here. You would find there are companies who are a startup. You will find companies who are already much very big established player. You will find academic institution from India abroad. So will be very happy to work with you should you have an idea which can help us to work on this energy transition to make it a better ecosystem from what it is today. And as I was mentioning that we are also part of the Clean Energy International Incubation Center. This is managed, this is a social alpha incubator, and it is based out of Delhi. And we work with social alpha on this Tata Trust, and it's again an objective to take it from lab to market. So we have got about 40 startups, and we support them, and then we support the other startup ecosystem also to make sure that other also come up. And just to summarize on how we do things, we focus very clearly. We focus on something like a deep technology item. Though we are not a research company, we are not in that way a technology company. We are definitely a power company, a operation-oriented company. But we are very sensitive, and we have a line of sight what kind of technology evolution it happens in the deep technology. So we engage with this deep technology of nuclear fission, SMR, geothermal, non-lithium based chemistries, non-silicon PVs, hydrogen, data sciences, and look at early stage innovators. And we work with them, and it is slightly long term. Then we look at some matured innovators and look at that how do we really apply the research. As I mentioned, we don't do research ourselves, but we are very good in applying the research. It could be in the area of power quality, voltage, DERs, the anti-soiling module. Suppose somebody has a technology and something which is matured, we can put it into commercial applications, pilot, and then get it. We also have an internal ecosystem which supports this. Like I was mentioning, Clean Energy International Incubation Center with Social Alpha is one of our systems. We have a battery test bed, EV charging bed we have, smart grid lab we do a lot of mentoring. So we have an ecosystem which encourages this research and development in this thing. And when I make a statement of research and development, it doesn't end at the research lab or a table. We wanted to take it out to the market and then commercialize and scale. That is the objective. And internally, we have got a lot of systems. We have a Innovista program of Tata. We have an Innovation Council. We do have a program called Entrepreneurship in Resident, where we encourage employees to become entrepreneurs. We have got few of we also measure our innovation index as we move forward. This is something which we try to do and create an innovation culture internally in the company. So these are few of the things I thought I will share with you. It is, though they have, it is called a masterclass, but it is no means a class. It is just that we are trying to put across some of our understanding which we have gathered over the years, some of the understanding we have how the future is going to look like. We thought it will be good to share with you so that when you are going to innovate, when you are going to put in your energy and develop some startup ecosystem, it finds a good fit into what we are the challenges and opportunities we are trying to address. Thank you for your attention. I'll be very happy to take the questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Das. I think this has been very interesting for me and for everyone else who's joined in. We have several questions coming in, so I'm going to ask them to you one in a row. Starting off is someone who asked, First Solar USA is building thin film solar plants in India, Chennai, using cadmium telluride. Is this technology and material highly toxic? If so, how and what precautions are required?
So what happens is it is definitely is not is toxicity is a perception. I will tell you maybe it will not be a relevant example. Alcohol is toxic, but how do we use it? What is the need? What is the not the need? To what extent it is going to address set off another larger problem. So what it is going to do, the first solar, they're definitely not, there's a cadmium is been used, if I recall, right? So that is definitely not something which is really clean and green, but it is an alternate. And it helps you to bring down the cost, it helps to bring down the material. So definitely it is a disruption and innovation. They have something like a 3.4 gigawatt solar plant they are going to come out with. They are going to have another plant also in Asia. So they are doing pretty well. And if you see the growth of what they are having, and then if you look at some of the incentives they are getting in US, they are quite there. But they did make a start. And the best part is, what is very important to understand is, apart from looking at it, because you see, when you are an entrepreneur, when you are a startup, your questions has to be a little different. One is, of course, should not cause a, like let me give you another example. Why should a car have a speed of more than 50 kilometers per hour? It will cause accidents, no? Technically speaking, car should not have it. It should only use 4, but it has got a, you can take it to 300 kilometers per hour also. Why it is required? It will cause accident. So can we say that it is going to be bad? So the point I'm trying to make is, there is always a balancing you have to do as an entrepreneur or as a decision maker. And you have to figure that out, what is the more damage you are doing, and if you are able to reduce the damage or kind of dilute the negative effect of whatever you are doing, you have done that. Lead is something which is not, is not good for the children, but you have not got rid of lead based batteries. You use it all the time. Why do you use it? You should stop using it. So the behavior and this thing is little different. So the point I'm trying to make is, you have to just look at innovations which is going to make it better than what it's been there previously. If you are able to totally eliminate the problem, great. But if you are not able to do that, at least whatever improvement we can do over the previous line, it's always good. I hope I have answered it to some extent. But point I'm trying to make is, as an entrepreneur, your question has to be a little different. You should have asked me that how it will be potentially be able to replace the conventional silicon in the future. That is where the entrepreneur has to look at.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. What is our plan and preparedness to mitigate the pvhi effect from the large scale solar plants? Could you throw some light on the subject?
So, frankly speaking, all these things, again, I was mentioning that what is the cost you are trying to adjust. There is always a plan. There are coatings. A lot of issues are there. What we are trying to do very consciously is to trying to get out of the silicon base. Now I am evaluating technologies which are non-silicon based. So it is alternate to silicon. I did mention about perovskites and everything. So one option is, and second thing is, as a company, you don't have an option to do everything yourself. We live in a connected ecosystem where somebody manufactures and we use somebody else's product. And somebody who's going to manufacture has to have a viability of doing it to give job to people and to add to the value of that. So again, you have to have the practical point of view and how to do that. And my question, I will again repeat on what I had said earlier. It is a question of that how what we are doing today is going to help us getting better from what it was yesterday. And then eventually you have to constantly look at innovation. That is the point I was trying to make. Suppose I am doing it on a PV. There is an opportunity as a startup to come out with to mitigate this risk. Right? If I say that I don't have a product in this discussion, I may not be able to share many things because we have some sort of an NDA with different technologies which we work with. So I may not be able to tell you that what exactly we are doing on that. But the point here is, if you identify and understand there is a problem and that problem is going to persist and that problem needs to be addressed, then there is an opportunity as a startup for you to get into that.
Great, thank you. You had mentioned that Tata Power is happy to work with startups in terms of whoever has new innovative technology. So, if someone is a startup working in energy transition, trying to collaborate with Tata Power, how would they do that? Is there a point of contact that they can reach out to from Tata Power? How would a startup approach you?
So the point of contact is directly, you can go to the website and you can reach out, and we are not hidden from anywhere, right? You can very easily find us. As we say now, finding a prime minister is not difficult. It is for the prime minister to find others or the president to find others is difficult. So you can always find us, but it is always better to go through a mechanism. For instance, if you are say working with Avaana in this case, so it is better that they will be able to shortcut many things for you. Or suppose you are working with some of our other partners, incubation centers. So it is better to do that. So you become better prepared. Otherwise, what happens is you come out with a how you have to understand, and then you have to also figure out that what you need to ask. Right? When you are approaching us, you have to be very clear what is your objective. And if you come with a very novel idea and then or you come out with a very basic idea and just want to explore, then it may be slightly difficult for us to walk the distance. If you have a technology and you have got the technology validated by some laboratory, if you have got it validated by somebody like say Avaana or somebody, say Social Alpha, and then they invest in you, they validate you, and then you have say support system which takes you and then can help us to catch our interest better. And then you have to understand one thing, we are working on a live system. And the live system, trying out on a live system, we have to be very careful. So we have to try out the product, we have to make sure that it is not going to cause any harm. And then we have to eventually do the pilot, etc. on that. But the short answer is, it is not difficult. You can always reach out to us in whatever way. And then through this, webinar, post this webinar, Avaana, you can get in touch with them. They will facilitate that interaction. Thank you.
Thank you. What are the funding opportunities for EVPM, Kusum scheme, etc. for startups? R&D grants for research, generated patents available upfront?
So the easier answer toward that will be, if you do a Google search, you will get better answer than what I am going to say. Because the funding opportunity is huge. The government of India funds, there's a startup ecosystem fund across even, and you will have so many opportunities to participate in the, Niti Aayog does programs, Avaana Built Environment, Social Alpha does programs. So there are many opportunities to do that. But I would say that before the funding, the first step is to really fructify what is your idea and what problem you're going to solve. I think that part is more important. Some days back, I was part of the IMA jury, Indian Electrical Equipment Manufacturing Association. And there, there was startup. There were about 170 odd startups participated. 33 we shortlisted, 20 made presentations. Out of that, some 7 selected, and all those things happened. There also 2-3 people got some prize money. So the point I'm trying to make is, you have to make the work talk, and then when it happens, then you get the funding opportunities, and then you have to make sure that it is moved from the lab. Again, I'm repeating that same part. You have to move that out from the lab, and then you can actually look at different funding opportunities. You can talk to Startup India. They have a lot of mechanism to it. You can talk. They also fund startups. So there are a lot of people who support this ecosystem.
Very true. Thank you. How long do you think alternative battery tech like sodium or zinc gel are going to take to become market ready or mainstream?
So as we speak, we are working with at least 6 different alternate chemistries of battery, and we have done already pilot in 3 of them. So, and they have also secured some very good funding. Let me also tell you that. So once you prove the technology, you will also get a funding. And also the trick to a funding is, you should also get associated with some very good people who validate your technology. That also is an important thing. So alternate chemistries of battery we are working on. And I think in next 5 years time, you will have this happening at the stationary storage level. The mobility application would still take some time, because there is a difference between energy battery and a power battery. Whereas for a mobility application, lithium has got some characteristic which still is very unique. Whereas for stationary application, the kind of application we kind of give opportunities to, their alternate chemistry would come, and I don't see it will go it is going to go beyond 5 years. And very interesting thing which I want to tell you about this battery storage is, it's more of an assembly. It is not a manufacturing. So you don't have to set up a huge lines, etc. for doing it. You can actually start small, assemble, and then move forward, bring things together. So there is an opportunity on, but I think 5 years we will have some mature technologies coming in.
Understood. Thank you. The hardware-based industries like energy storage of battery recycling or technology are very capital intensive. How can startups ensure a longer runway to sustain the research and operation expenses?
So I'll tell you what, you can Google a company called Commonwealth Fusion System, right? You just Google that company. It's a startup which has come out of the MIT nuclear lab, and just see how much funding they have been able to get. It's in billions. Actually, in India, we think very small. How much money you want, you will say that I want to have 10 lakh rupees, 20 lakh rupees, 1 crore, 5 crores, things like that. Nobody will tell that I want 10 million. Because for telling 10 million, you have to be very sure that what you are going to deliver in that 10 million. So you have to think big. What is the problem with a startup coming out with? The six companies which I'm talking about in battery are all startups, but they're talking millions. I'm telling you. Some of them are a couple of them are based out of India. They've been also able to generate something like 40-50 crores, but it is also very small compared to the foreign counterparts who have been able to generate millions. So you have to think big, and you can get funding for larger things also. You come with the technology, come to us. If you find there is a strength in that, we will definitely fund it. When we can fund it, somebody else will also fund it. So why this happens abroad is because they have a process. They have a very strong engagement with the academics, and the academics, they put a lot of head into it. They come out with test results. They dedicate their energy in a lot of research. So they give you a lot of confidence for the investment, and they give you results also on that. So the point is, you have to also raise the bar as startups, and that bar, once it is raised, and you ask for money. I fully agree with you. It is capital incentive, so you ask for that money. As a startup, I mean, you should have that plan ready. That I will stabilize this chemistry by this year. I will test this, and then I will look for a manufacturing setup. I need $100 million to set up this manufacturing. Yes, it is possible.
Thank you. And our last question for today before we close, because we're nearing time, is how do you see IoT technologies contributing to the optimization and efficiency of energy systems within startups focused on the energy transition?
So what we have to be very careful about is, as we say, every second company is an IoT company which comes out. We feel that it is very easy to do it. Get few friends to do that. So everybody can write a program. I am now getting a feeling that when a child is going to be born in India, the person can straight away write a program. That is the kind of strength we have from India is. So you have a lot of application in IoT, but we don't have quality IoT. For instance, we have to have a IoT which is absolutely out of the world and disruptive. For instance, smart meter technologies. Is there a way that I can convert all these smart meter data and do some high level of analytics and give it to them at a cost? Because India has a huge market. Is it possible to do that? So what kind of a output we give, what sort of analytics we give, what sort of values give? Can we translate that IoT into actual real money, that how much saving it has been able to do? Because end of the day, you should translate that into a value. How much it's going to do that? India is very poor on sensors. We don't have good sensors at all. We have to put a lot of sensors. So IoT is not possible without developing good sensors. So you have to work with hardware. Any software person today needs to have a good understanding of hardware. You please go through, all of you, and have a look at what is a digital twin. Digital twin is coming in a big way, and it is all about sensing and IoT, and then really reducing the downtime when you are going to do any repair and making it very safe for everyone. IoT is a huge market, and it is not. It is Internet of everything. It is not IoT. It is IoE, Internet of everything. You can actually connect with everything. Everything you can connect in a very manner. The way we live in a world which is connected. I remember Thomas Friedman's book, The World is Flat. Then he says world is connected. The world is chaos. It is all that. So you can actually connect it across by using the IoT chain. And today, very interestingly, what you see is IoT is also a huge platform for connecting different industries. For instance, transportation, mobility is connected to the BMS system, which is connected to the grid. How it is possible? IoT makes it possible, right? And then it is connected to your, say, mobile phone, which is connected to a sensor which monitors your health. Again, energy saving. Suppose you are feeling your temperature is high, you can actually reduce or increase the temperature of the AC. It is connected. So the applications is huge, and it is for you to think that how to work it out. But it's a very cluttered market. You have to figure out that how you are going to add a value. So we have been working on this energy system. I feel that there are very few companies who have been able to give a solution on IoT for us. One of the things which is having a huge challenge in India is the low voltage automation system. India actually traditionally cannot afford. We have volume, but we cannot afford high cost of technology. But we have a high number of consumers. So if we can come out with a IoT based solution which can monitor low voltage, it's going to be great, looking at the grade, looking at the quality of power and everything. And the metering, billing, all those, it is a lot of applications hover around that. So IoT is, I feel, though a lot of things are happening in the area of IoT, but when it comes to energy, still, I think it is at a very nascent stage. Yes, a huge opportunity there.
Understood. Thank you. And I'm sorry we are at time, so I don't think we'll be able to take any more questions. But Dr. Das, any parting words or final remarks that you may have?
I think, one thing which I want to tell you is you have to be very bold. Don't be conservative. Don't ask for, I am starting a startup with 5 lakh rupees, 10 lakh. I'm not saying that for the sake of increasing the cost of your input, you should increase. But if you feel you have a faith in an idea, you feel you have a conviction in a solution, you should actually don't hesitate to say that, yeah, I need money, I need more funds. This is how I'm going to make the plan and commit yourself into it, and spend time in that. Talk to people. One thing you have mentioned that how we support the startup, but something which is not going to cost you money is you can always call up somebody from Tata Power and say that I have developed it, I want to just to understand that how can I make it better, and that need not be a formal interaction. It could be an informal interaction which you can do. So there is always few steps before you actually commit yourself into a startup, but I think you have to be very bold. And then you don't look at others. You should do a competitive analysis. You should understand what is happening around the marketplace, but you should not get affected by others, and don't take too much advice. We have mentors. Every second person I also see that they have become mentors after we retire or lose our age. Just be careful there. You have to, if you have a faith in an idea, please go ahead with it, and move around with people who are more positive and encourage you rather than people who discourage you. I think that part is extremely important. You should keep the spirit very high as we move forward.
Great. Thank you so much. I think this has been a very insightful session for everyone who joined in. And I particularly like the emphasis that you put on innovation and on coming up with new solutions. I think it's very inspiring and gives a lot of us hope. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, everyone, and have all the best. And we hope to see you sometime working with Tata Power. Thank you.
Thank you.